Welcome to the premiere episode of our 16th season of Native Report. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ernie Stevens.
And I'm Rita Aspinwall. On this edition of Native Report, we'll learn about Art Heals, the Jingle Dress Project.
And then we meet biologist Matthew Tutimes.
We also learn what we can do to lead healthier lives and hear from our elders on this edition of Native Report.
Photographer Eugene Tapahe, along with his family and friends, is taking the healing power of the jingle dress across Indian country and documenting their journey as part of Art Heals, the Jingle Dress Project. Their travels brought them to Minnesota, which is where the jingle dress has its beginnings. Join us now as we learn about the Jingle Dress Project.
Erin Tapahe. I'm a member of the Navajo Nation, and we are part of the Art Heals, the Jingle Dress Project, and we're here in Minnesota for the purpose of dancing and healing.
The heart of our idea is to actually go out and to heal the land and heal the people. 100 years ago, the Jingle Dress dance originated with the Ojibwe people during the pandemic in 1918. And so we kind of feel like this is a great time for us to do what we're doing, and there's parallels between our project and that.
I'd always heard the story about the jingle dress dance tradition, that there was a little girl who became very ill, near death. Her father had this vision that ultimately saved her life, and this little girl became the first jingle dress dancer.
So my name is Eugene Tapahe. I'm with Tapahe Photography. I'm the owner and photographer. The project I'm working on right now is called the Art Heals, the Jingle Dress Project. It actually originated from a dream I had. I dreamt one night that I was actually in Yellowstone National Park, and I was sitting in a green field, and I was watching bison kind of grazing out on the field. And as I was sitting there, just enjoying the scenery and enjoying the moment, I realized that all of a sudden these jingle dress dancers started coming onto the grass. And then all of a sudden the song started, and they were started to dance. And it was really beautiful, and I really took it to heart that this was a sign for something that was something that I needed to do. So when we do go out to the lands, we're actually going to places where our ancestors have walked before. And so it makes us feel good when we go out there, because we're trying to also, along with the healing, we're also looking at it in the sense of the reclamation of native lands. Reclaiming the land, and also we're there to heal the land, and we're there to heal the people that are supporting us, and also just all people in general during this pandemic.
I'm Brenda Child, a professor of American Studies and American Indian Studies at the University of Minnesota. I'm Red Lake Ojibwe, and I've been working on the history of the Ojibwe jingle dress dance tradition for quite a number of years now. I knew that the jingle dress was an Ojibwe tradition, and then it was kind of regional for many years. It was practiced by Ojibwe people of the Great Lakes of the United States and Canada, and then very quickly it moved to our Dakota neighbors. But it was sort of a regional tradition among Ojibwe and Dakota people until the later decades of the 20th century, when it became kind of a pan-Indian phenomenon.
I went to Standing Rock. That was where I had my calling to become a jingle dress dancer. And so ever since then, it's always been tied with my purpose of healing the land and healing those who are in need.
I'd always heard the story about the jingle dress dance tradition, that there was a little girl who became very ill, near death. Her father had this vision that ultimately saved her life, and this little girl became the first jingle dress dancer. And I thought that was a very powerful story. But what's interesting to me is that when I went looking at the history of the jingle dress, and I knew about it growing up at Red Lake. My grandmother, born in the early 20th century, was a jingle dress dancer all her life. She lived into her 80s. And so it was something I always knew about. In 1918-19, there was a terrible pandemic that was devastating to American Indians as well as other people in the world. And who would have predicted that a whole new healing tradition would come out of that terrible pandemic, one that's still with us a century later?